Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name's Lysha, the owner behind Lysha Be Creative, and in today's video we're going to make two different styles, sort of snow globe tumblers. We're going to do a lava lamp, finally a successful one, and I'm going to show you something that's a bit new, and I'm sure you've seen these around quite a bit, typically in the coffee cup style look, but we're going to do this really pretty sort of spring looking one as well, and we're going to be using some gorgeous vinyl from Tech Wrap. So of course everything I use will be listed down below, but let's go ahead and jump right into today's tutorial. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with a couple of 16-ounce glitter globe tumblers from Hog Tumblers. So I do have a code for them, or a link to their website down in the description box to save you a bit of extra money there. But I'm going to go ahead and undo and take all the wrapping off of these, put the tops away for now, and kind of get started. So for this first cup here, this is going to be the one that is sort of the newer style that I was talking about. But I wanted to add a little bit of some extra sparkle to this. So what I'm doing is I am putting a little bit of polyacrylic inside of this, enough to coat the inside walls of the glass here, because I want to add a little bit of glitter to this to give this a bit of sparkle. So this is very similar to what you've seen me do on my channel when I am working with ornaments. I've also done this in a glitter snow globe look before without any solution on my channel. So we're just kind of taking that same concept and we're going to kind of combine these two to make this really pretty sort of spring inspired look. So once I get the solution in there, that polyacrylic, I'm really just going to take my time to ensure that it is really coated all of the glass and kind of just let that sit to air dry a bit so that it gets to be tacky. Now we're going to go ahead and get started working on our lava lamp snow globe here. So I'm taking some of this silver flash, color shifting paint that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to add this to my little sort of, bottle here that we're going to put our solution in. So I just want a little bit of paint, of course, to color our solution. That way I get a little bit of, a colored solution, really, so that you can see that lava drip as it goes through. I'm now going to fill this up with the solution of my choice. I am using Two Moms Craft Shack suspended solution. It's my favorite solution to use, but you can use vegetable glycerin water here. You could use whatever solution you use. If you use glue, make sure it is anything other than a baby oil solution, okay? Because baby oil is actually what's going to allow us to make the lava lamp look like a lava lamp, okay? So I'm going to add a little bit of glitter to this too. You don't have to. I just wanted to see how much of the glitter would show through this. And with this super fine glitter, what I did notice is that sometimes it does get stuck to like the top rim because it kind of settles after a while, but it does really give a nice shimmer to the paint as well. And so that was Moon Dust from Shop Vinyl Gallery, their glitter line over there. And so we're going to go ahead and get started in adding the solution to this cup. These cups are super simple to do. And I can't believe I haven't done more of these, but I'm literally just going to add a bunch of that solution into the cup, as much as I want. Remember, this is a shorter cup, so I don't want a whole bunch of that in there. Enough that I'd really be able to see a difference between the two solutions. And then I'm going to fill up the remainder of the cup with mineral oil. So you could choose to use mineral oil, which you can purchase off of Amazon, or you can use baby oil because it does the exact same thing. But that is actually going to allow our previous solution, the colored solution, to sort of drip through this solution, because these two won't ever mix together. They're two different densities, therefore they'll just kind of continually flow through one another, which is really cool. So we're going to fill the entire snow globe completely with our mineral oil solution to fill it up. I'm using my syringe here, of course, to pull out all of the air. Make sure you have a bit of your solution on top of the cup, though. That way, while you're pulling back on your syringe to remove the air, you are also allowing that liquid on top to then fill in that gap in space that you're creating, okay? So do that until you no longer have a bubble, or until you just have a very small bubble, whatever your choice is. And then that is literally it. That is all you have to do for a lava lamp style snow globe. And I cannot believe that it is taking me this long to successfully be able to do one. So thankfully, that turned out way better than my very first one back years ago that I did here on my channel. Glad that this one turned out much better. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this off with a little bit of rubbing alcohol just to remove any of the, you know, slipperiness from the mineral oil and the solution that we used inside of the snow globe. And we're going to go ahead and apply a decal. So this is a really beautiful butterfly decal that I got from, I believe I got it from BAMF Custom Creations, I want to say. I think it might have been in one of the subscription packs she used to do. But this decal should be available on the website. I'll be sure to link it in the description box as well. So this is going to be the main decal here. And then I'm going to take some of my pastel butterfly UV DTF and I'm going to apply that over the rest of the cup. So I love to just have like little UV DTF embellishments on the cup or on cups. I just feel like I like gravitate towards those kinds of UV DTF because I'm always like pairing decals with different UV DTF and like just needing like a little bit of something to add to a cup. And I love that UV DTF are just so easy and versatile to use that I just have that and am able to get it applied in literally seconds. So we're back to our second cup. This one is a little bit more in depth, okay? So what I'm doing right now is that solution inside has, for the most part, dried. I've gotten any of the excess polyacrylic out because we don't want too much liquid in there because then it'll allow the glitter that we're putting in there to really sort of move around, and we really want the glitter to be stuck to the side walls of the inside of the glass. So I'm using First Dance from Batty Glitter. And I am going to apply enough glitter in there to allow it to be stuck to all of the inside walls of the cup, but that's it. Like, I'm not trying to add this so that it flows or anything. Really, I just want it to be stuck to the inside of the cup, and that is it. And so when I'm satisfied with that, I'm going to go ahead and set that aside. Now we're going to prep our solution for the inside of the cup. So this is the easiest cup you will ever create. And literally all you need is magical liquid. That's it. Elmer's magical liquid. That is it. Okay. And we're going to mix these different cups of magical liquid that I'm pouring out here with paint. And that's literally it. Any paint of your choice will work. I'm not sure if something like alcohol inks would work. I haven't used that. You would want something that has, you know, is really opaque. You don't want anything that's too translucent because the idea is not to be able to see through the snow globe in this kind of style. But I'm going to go ahead and add the 4 colors that I'm using. In the yellow and white cups, I only poured about halfway the amount of magical liquid that I'm going to be using, since that is going to represent, of course, the clouds and the sun, and most of the cup is going to be consumed of the blue sky as well as the green glass. So the way that you want to apply this or pour this in is you want to use some sort of syringe. Now, it doesn't have to be this syringe that I'm using. You can get like a party syringe would work as well, like the ones that don't actually come with the tips or whatever. You can also find different kinds of syringes that are a larger blunt needle gauge on Amazon. I'm just using one that I had on hand. So I do have a really thin needle gauge, but it really did get the job done. And I'm sort of pulling in that solution, and then as I push it into the cup, I'm swirling it around so that it goes down all together, if that makes sense. So I don't want too much on one side because it's going to create a little bit of a lump. Magical liquid by itself is a pretty thick consistency, so it does take a while for it to settle. And so I want to help that settling along, of course, by just kind of spreading it evenly around the cup. Once I'm satisfied with the amount of white I have in there to represent the clouds, I'm going to go in with yellow. Now for the yellow, because I want this to just represent the sun, I am going to focus this solution with my syringe, pushing it into one section of the cup, and that is it. And that's going to create kind of like this dome sort of look to represent like the sun on a horizon. And that was kind of what I wanted. Then we're going to go in with the blue, which of course represents the blue sky. And so once I'm done with applying all of that, the full 30 mLs of that, I'll finally finish things off with the green. So same process here that I've been doing. I'm just pulling back on that syringe, making sure that I'm filling that up, and then I'm just going to go around the inside of the snow globe until it's filled. Now, as I get to the bottom, I will say that with this kind of solution, because it's thicker, it is a little bit tougher to get these fully filled. My first 2, which I'm going to show you at the very end, were definitely not 100% filled like I would have liked to. This one came out way more filled, and that was because I took my time and really ensured that I was pushing the solution into where there was gaps in air and tapping my cup on my surface gently enough to allow the bubbles to come out through the hole, okay? So take your time with this. It might take you a few good tries. The other thing that you can do is the same trick that I do with my other snow globes, which is to pull the air out with a solution on top. That you could try. I was successful with just pushing the air in, or pushing the solution in and tapping it, so I didn't feel like I needed to go that route. Now, are all the bubbles removed? No, but I'm pretty satisfied because this is a lot more filled than the first two cups that I had tried with this kind of solution. So that's finished. We're going to go ahead and pop the silicone stopper on the bottom of that. And this is kind of how it all turns out and looks. So there's so many different like colors and things that you can do. Again, I'm going to show you the two that I did previously at the end of this tutorial, but there are so many different ideas. And I literally, as I was editing this video, I came up with another idea that I really want to do. So I'm kind of having like so much fun creating these just because they're different and it's just fun to be able to create new things, you know? Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and seal up the bottom. I did the same thing with the butterfly one, and we're just gonna take a little bit of UV resin, put that around the silicone stopper at the bottom, and cure that for 30 to 60 seconds. So I'm satisfied with this. It's all sealed up. We're gonna go ahead though and get our vinyl ready for our flowers on the outside. So I got a beautiful promo box of colorful pearl vinyl from Tech Wrap Craft. I got all of these colors and we're going to use a bunch of them today. But I got so many different choices and colors to choose from. And the way that this pearl vinyl like looks and feels, it all cuts just like regular vinyl. And I am obsessed with these colors for sure. These definitely scream like spring summer colors for me. And so I thought that this would be the perfect vinyl to be able to use for our design around this sort of snow globe glass can look. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull all of these colors out of their packaging and cut the amount of vinyl that I'm going to need in order to get all of my floral elements and decal cut with my Cricut. So I will list all the colors that I got in the box as well as the ones specifically that I use today down in the description box. And don't forget, I do have a discount code that you can use to save yourself a bit of money when you're shopping from Tech Wrap Craft. So I have my colors ready to go. Let's go ahead and get these cut, and now we can go ahead and weed these. So I wanted to do kind of a slowed down version of weeding this because I don't often show weeding. I usually like, you know, speed through that section, but I wanted to show you guys how easy this vinyl was to weed. Literally, I used this vinyl on a traditional cut setting for vinyl. That was it. I didn't change any of the settings in my Cricut or on my Cricut to be able to cut this differently. It cut really beautifully. I didn't need to really struggle at any point in time with getting all of this weeded as well. Everything just peeled up so nicely, and I couldn't have asked for an easier vinyl to work with. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish weeding this out, all of these different colors, and get ourselves kind of ready to add the florals to the design of our cup. So all of the elements that I got for this cup particularly are just from Cricut Design Space Images. You guys know that that's typically where I'll start, and if I don't find anything there, I'll go to somewhere like Creative Fabrica or Etsy if I need to find SVGs that, you know, I kind of have an idea for. So I'm just going to speed through me weeding the rest of the vinyl pieces that we're going to be using, and then we're going to go ahead and get these applied. So I'm going to use my Tech Wrap Craft transfer paper here to be able to get all of our elements applied. So I just went sort of with a very simple bloom and grow. And I know we're so much closer to summer than we really are spring, but I realized that I didn't do too many like spring tutorials this spring. So I thought that, you know, these colors really gave me spring vibes, and so I thought it just would pair so well. We're technically still in spring, so I think that it's okay. So I'm going to start with the Bloom and Grow decal on the back side of this. So on the opposite side of where the sun is, I'm just going to apply that on the back side, and then we'll go ahead and get the other pieces of vinyl layered and added to the cup. So all of these elements, as I mentioned, they're all from Cricut. Super easy, simple to use. I did change the colors of them. That was kind of the only thing, just to match the vinyl that I was going to be using and kind of just pull it all together. But I'm just going to layer sort of the circle centers of all of the flowers onto the different floral elements. And then I'll start with lining up all of the stems and leaves from the flowers before I go ahead and apply the actual floral or flower tops to each of these sections. That way it kind of all pulls together. Once I had kind of gotten the stems done, I just moved to transferring everything with my craft knife. I always find that for smaller elements, this is just a little bit easier for myself, but transfer tape works as well. I didn't have any issues when I was applying any of the stems with pulling up anything next to it with my transfer tape, which I know sometimes can be a little bit of a hassle, but I'm just gonna go ahead and hand place the rest of these pieces here onto the cup. That last flower is going to go on there, and then I'll go back to the yellow. I figured I'd use the yellow as just a little bit of a cute embellishment around the Bloom and Grow decal, just to kind of tie it into the rest of sort of the floral elements on the cup here. And I think that this just kind of came out so stinking cute. I think this is like the cutest little cup. I will most likely go in and epoxy this cup. I didn't for the sake of the tutorial because, again, this is permanent vinyl. You don't technically need to, especially because these kinds of cups are hand wash anyway. But for me, I probably will just put a coat or two of epoxy over it just to keep everything secure and keep it, you know, lasting for a lot longer. So we're going to go ahead, now that that cup is finished, we'll set that aside and we're going to go ahead and work on our toppers here. So our lids are going to go into my small lid assist and my adjustable lid assistant from KELLBELL Customs. That is where I grabbed those for, and you can use Lysha B to save yourself 10% on her website as well. If you're like me and need something to hold on to your lids so that you can paint them and rhinestone them and glitter them and all that good stuff without like awkwardly trying to hold it in your hand and not get yourself painted and glittered the same way as your lids. So I'm going to go in with a yellow for sort of the spring inspired cup that we have. So just a yellow, just to base paint the cup here or the top here and allow the glitter to be a bit more vibrant. And then for the other cup, I'm going to go in with a purple. I couldn't decide between like a purple or a midnight blue because I wasn't really sure which color glitter I was going to go with. But I think even though I chose more of a darker purple, more close to blue color, I think that the purple still very much complements the color. So let those dry, and then we'll go in with a bit of UV resin here to add our glitter to these lids too. So just enough UV resin to cover the tops, nothing too crazy. For the yellow, I'm going to use Brantley from Batty Glitter. I'm going to get that mixed up, and then I will get that applied. In each of the cups here, I think I have maybe 10 mLs, probably less than that. And I didn't even use the full amount for either of these lids because these are smaller lids, so you don't need a whole lot of UV resin and glitter to cover these lids. But just taking that popsicle stick and just really spreading that out, making sure all of the glitter and UV resin goes from edge to edge before I stick that under the UV lamp and cure that for 60 seconds. So with that one done, we're going to switch over to the other lid, and we're going to use Arabian Nights from Batty Glitter here, which is more of a blue color, but it definitely gives you a little bit of a purple shift too, which I love. But I go ahead and mix that in with my UV resin and then apply that to the second lid here. So I like to just work in different sections. I try not to pour too much UV resin onto the lids at a time because it is much harder to try and pull that UV resin back off if you have too much, versus if you apply a little bit at a time and kind of just spread as you go, because I want to, of course, avoid any of that UV resin sort of pooling over the sides and causing a big mess. So I'll cure that for a minute or two, and then we'll go ahead and add a couple of extra things onto these lids before we do the final cure for these. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll apply a couple of the yellow flowers for the Bloom and Grow cup to the lid on the yellow. So I'm just going to add those. I'm not going to add anything else to that lid whatsoever. I'm just going to leave that as is with those two, and I'll go in with a final coat of UV resin, just clear UV resin over the top. Then for the second lid, I forgot that I had these, but these are cute little like stickers from Michael's. I think I picked them up. Like, people use them for scrapbooking and things. I just pulled that little like sticker piece off the back of them, and I'm going to use this as sort of like almost like a rhinestone, like kind of like a extra large rhinestone and apply them to the lid with a bit of UV resin. So I'm just going to take a silicone, tool or brush here just to put a bit of that UV resin under where the butterfly is going to sit, and then place that butterfly directly on top. So I'm going to do that for all 3 of those, and then I will give that lid a nice cure there. I'm not going to go in and do a final coat over top of that. Those are secure, and I don't really feel like it needs anything, but I am going to secure the vinyl onto the top of the yellow lid just to make sure that this doesn't peel up over time. Of course, normal wear and tear. So I'm just going to make sure I have a nice thin layer over top of that and give that a good cure. Remember, if you don't have a UV lamp or you don't have a lamp that really does produce enough strong UV rays, now that it's nice and sunny outside, you take advantage of the natural UV rays outside. Go ahead and set those items outside and they'll be cured within 30 seconds to a minute. So that is the final look for those 2 cups. They came out so cute, but I did also want to show you guys before the conclusion of this tutorial the other cups that I did do in that similar style to the Bloom and Grow cup. I think that these came out so cute and adorable. I made these 2 in my Facebook group, and I just think they came out so cute, and so now I'm kind of like low-key obsessed with making all of these, so just be prepared to see quite a few of these. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Of course, if you did, give this video a huge thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, and you guys know that I will see you again in the next one. Bye!